I wanted to introduce back again Nina Bhanot, top 20 realtor for RE/MAX in Texas. Nina, thank you so much for being back on the show. It looks like you brought along a special guest with you today.
I did. You know, I get a lot of questions from clients a lot of times about 1031 exchanges, what they are and how they work. So I thought, who better than to bring on Craig Brown, the expert in the field. IPX is going to actually be doing 25,000 exchanges this year.
That's right.
So
That's
definitely, you know, an expert in this area. So I'd like to introduce Craig Brown.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're so excited to have you on today, Craig. So maybe we can start off by having you explain to us what exactly a 1031 exchange is.
Okay, certainly. It essentially allows for a taxpayer that's an investor or business owner, they can sell a property and then they can buy another property or more than one property, but they can do it without having to recognize the gain on the sale of the property that they're selling. And that can be a real big dollar amount in the long term. So that's what the investor really looks at the power of 1031 to do, is to take that tax money that otherwise would go to the government and grow it into substantial net worth out in the future.
And Nina, for you, how do you advise your clients when they're thinking about doing this kind of thing? What do you tell them? Do you just send them Craig's way?
Well, you know, it's kind of like a partnership when you're working with your realtor and you're working with somebody like Craig. So, you know, a lot of times I will make the introduction and then we sell the property and we then look to purchase a property. That's when we have to start getting Craig involved again. So really we're kind of looking at as a partnership and getting people to understand what the process and what the timelines are, because that's really important when doing a 1031 exchange, so that you have a successful and smooth transaction.
Right, because this isn't a viable option for everyone across the board, right?
That's correct. This is for investors or business owners. So technically the property has to be held for investment or productive use in a trade or business. In our context today, we're really talking about, you know, single family residential properties. Maybe it's a rent house, a duplex, a fourplex. And so anyone that has a rent house or that under certain very strict limitations is selling a second home or a vacation home can qualify to be the relinquished property for a 1031 exchange.
So Nina, are there any other nuances that you want people to understand that may have a need for this type of exchange?
Well, I actually have a lot of clients who sometimes move up or, you know, move to a bigger home, and instead of selling their current home, they decide to rent it out.
When you move out of your primary residence and convert it to a rental, that's typically not a taxable event. If you have lived in the property any two of the previous 5 years, you get a $250,000 exclusion of gain if you're single, $500,000 exclusion of gain if you're married filing a joint account. So you want to hang on to that exclusion of gain. And what that means is, if you convert your primary residence to a rental, then before it is a rental for 3 years, you have a very strong incentive to sell that property, so that you can qualify for that exclusion of gain.
And I think the most important thing is when you are thinking about doing something like this, you really want to be working with an expert in the field to ensure it goes smoothly.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for your expertise and your time today.